Welcome back, or welcome for the first time to No Moral Victories, man. Y'all know what it is. We need 1 million subscribers, though. Do that while I'm talking right now. Doo-doo-doo. I'm glad you did that. Appreciate you, man. Like up, comment, let me know how you feel. Today, we are reacting to the world's toughest prison, man. I wanted to jump straight into this one, man. I ain't seen nothing like this before. Let's do it.
Is there a fate worse than death? Is there a scenario where a criminal would gladly choose capital punishment
Oh,
over life
shit.
imprisonment? Well, as surreal as it sounds, there are prisons in
Free
this
the
world
guys!
that make the death penalty a
Free
merciful
the
sentence.
guys!
Prisons riddled with unspeakable horror that
Damn.
will make your stomach turn. And in this video, I'm going to show you 10 of the worst. So, take a deep breath, because things are about to get very ugly. Number 10, Black Dolphin
10 of the
Prison,
worst.
Russia. Ask any Russian you know.
Damn, look at the
it's
name
very
of
ugly.
it.
Number 10, Black
Dolphin Prison. You know you in some shit now.
Dolphin Prison, Russia. Ask any Russian you know, and they'll tell you that life in any Russian prison is incredibly tough. But this high-security Black Dolphin prison redefines that quality. Located on the Kazakhstan border, Black Dolphin is one of Russia's oldest prisons, and it got its name from the statue at the front of the building, which the prisoners built themselves.
Wait, what do you say?
Its name from the statue at the front of the building, which the prisoners built themselves. That's strange, because Black Dolphin is not really known for its freedom. In fact, the only way to escape this prison is by dying. That is the fate of every inmate, because only inmates with life sentences are sent to Black Dolphin. The prison fate of every inmate, because only inmates with life sentences are sent to Black Dolphin. The prison houses about 700 inmates, who together have a murder count of about 3,500. Shared equally, that is at least 5 victims per inmate. But murder is not the worst skill on their resume. Black Dolphin also houses cannibals, assault perpetrators of the worst kind, maniacs.
The worst prisons, we at number 10. And we got cannibals up in here, man. We got cannibals and people who done caught, on average, 5 bodies.
Terrorists and pedophiles. 2 inmates are forced to share brutally built 50-square-foot cells that are secured behind 3 sets of steel doors. And
that's like me doing this.
24-hour surveillance, and guards make their rounds every 15 minutes. The prisoners hardly ever leave their cells.
What do you say?
Every 15 minutes. The prisoners hardly ever leave their cells.
You sit in a 50-foot square room with another person all day?
But when they do, they're blindfolded and made to walk bent at the waist. This way, they never have a sense of their surroundings. There is no prison yard and no cafeteria, as inmates are forced to eat only meals of soup and bread in their dingy cells. If hell was a prison, then Black Dolphin.
This is only number 10, yo. That was only number 10. That shit sounds the worst. Don't do the crime if you can't do the time.
Barrios, El Salvador. Now, what could be worse than hell? I'm glad you asked. Allow me to introduce you to Al de Ciudad, the most dangerous prison in all of El Salvador. The reason it is so dangerous is because it houses 2 of the world's most notorious gangs, the MS-13 and the Barrio 18 gang.
Ooh. Oh. Okay. Them is them Hispanic gangs that don't play. I'm not saying nothing. Get back to the video.
Sector 2.
Death often comes without warning if an inmate is not a gang member, and that's why from 2004 to 2015, only gang members were sent to this.
If you are not a gangbanger, you're gonna die in there. Damn, bruh. These is really the worst prisons, bro.
But sometimes, being a gang member is not enough. And most of the time, they are the least of your concern, because the living conditions are so bad and the prison is so overcrowded that getting simple things like food to eat or a place to lay your head could easily turn into a fight to the death with anyone contesting your claim. The prison's reputation for lawlessness and violence is so real that prison guards are terrified of entering the prison, and the result, the entire prison system is run by the gang members. Number 8.
Basically, that's what it looked like, man. They just sent the whole group of gangbangers to a jail, let them just sit in there, post up, and they could, have their own community in jail, man. Damn, bro. That was number 9.
Prison, Russia.
It's supposed to get worse. Let's see what's going on.
For a reason, and that reason would put the fear of Mother Russia into the heart of the devil.
Your island, the island of the damned.
Sitting in isolation on the vast Nozovero Lake, this tiny island prison houses.
These jails, man, when you're a criminal, they don't give a damn about you, bro. You're not even a human no more in
193
these jails.
prisoners, all on life sentences.
193
Unsurprisingly, the inmates are usually the worst of the worst.
They're looking for anything that could be used as a weapon or a means of escape.
And each of them are kept in a small two-man cell for 23 hours every day. Escape is impossible because inmates are not even allowed out of their cell for any reason, and the 1 hour they are allowed out of lockdown is spent standing in a cage that they can barely pace in. However,
They're not even human no more in these prisons, bro. That shit
cherry on this
crazy.
terrible reality, what makes this prison worse than Black Dolphin is the lack of basic sanitation facilities. There are no proper toilets and no proper bathrooms. Inmates do their business in a steel bucket and they find sleep on thin beds. Some have likened the living conditions of Pedak Island prison to that of a zoo in winter. That is because the island is
Cold as
surrounded by
shit.
freezing waters that contribute to the breaking the spirit of their inmates. Number 7, Bang Kwang Prison, Bangkok, Thailand. Bang Kwang Prison is one of the worst prisons on earth for a very specific.
Hey, I'm looking at these prisons, right? I'm looking like, okay, can none of these on this top 10 countdown be in the States, bro? There's no way. These gotta all be from nowhere near America, man. There's no way.
Reason many of its inmates were once tourists.
But there's 24 in the room, which is really hard, especially if you get to the toilet because everyone's all over them.
And because the prison facility is so overcrowded,
It's trouble because of a government crackdown on drug trafficking.
these offending tourists have to cramp up in the same space with prisoners
All these
on death
prisons
row.
are
And the
overcrowded.
offenses that could boot you into Bang Kwang are often very trivial. Reading the wrong book, staying in groups of 5, or even eating a sandwich in public could get you a one-way ticket to Bang Kwang.
Hold on. Listen to what they said could land y'all in this prison. They said
Offenses
reading
that
the
could
wrong
boot you
book.
into Bang Kwang are often very trivial. Reading the wrong book, staying in groups of 5, or even eating a sandwich in public could get you a one-way ticket to
Eating
Bang
a
Kwang.
sandwich
Life
in
in Bang Kwang
public.
is beyond.
You can't even have no Subway out there. No Jersey Mike's. Did you like this video yet? Come on, man. Damn. Subscribe up.
For inmates. In the first 3 months of their sentence, new inmates are required to wear iron chains. To make matters worse, the food they're served is often infested with maggots, and drinking water is an absolute luxury. But it doesn't end there. Don't think you can just avoid
Water
Bang
is a
Kwang by
luxury.
being a good citizen or tourist. A couple of years ago, a British man was thrown into jail when a Thai gang jumped him, and even though he lost an eye and suffered injuries, he still had to do time in Bang Kwang
For what?
fighting back. Number
Oh
6.
my
Gita-
god. Dude got jumped, lost an eye, was fighting back, and got sent to the prison for fighting back. God damn, it's gonna get worse. This countdown is nuts right here,
Central
man.
Prison, Rwanda.
This is nuts.
Overcrowding is a common denominator with most prisons on this list, but there
Right.
is no prison that has it as bad as Gitarama Central Prison in Rwanda.
Rwanda.
Today, it's holding 8,000.
In a facility originally designed to hold just over
They're not feed, that's what I'm
1,300
saying. Ain't
inmates,
nobody eating.
8,000 prisoners have been forced to share the space. In most
Those are
cases,
kids.
finding a spot to lie down on the ground is a luxury, and
Oh,
many inmates are forced
sick.
to stand up all day or negotiate with those who have claimed portions of the ground. And it's not like the ground in dispute is some piece of fine real estate. It is damp and more often than not filled with raw feces. Unsurprisingly, this has led to more, what's the word again? Let's say complex issues. Many prisoners
Oh, fuck. Yeah, I don't even know what to say,
from
man.
disease and suffocation. And if you were to mistakenly injure your foot, gangrene would set in, and you would either have to cut it yourself, risk death, or watch it fall from
Hold on.
outright died from what's the word again? Let's say complex issues. Many prisoners have outright died from disease and suffocation. And if you were to mistakenly injure your foot, gangrene would set in, and you would either have to cut it yourself, risk death, or watch it fall from your body.
Cut
But
your
it
foot
gets
off
worse than
yourself?
that. There have been several cases of inmates feasting on each other out of hunger, and the cannibalism could even be worse than I just stated because there is little to no documentation.
You got cannibalism in prison, bro. It gets worse. It's getting
And
worse,
cannibalism
man.
could even be worse than I just stated, because there is little to no documentation on the activities that happen behind these prison bars. And prison guards have been brainwashed to believe that the prisoners in their charge are subhuman. Last year, 2,000 people died in Rwandan prisons. An overwhelming majority of those deaths
2,000.
happened within the walls of Gitarama Central Prison. Number 5, Kamiti Maximum Security Prison, Kenya.
Wow.
What makes this prison immediately stand out from the rest is that it is home to the worst of the worst. Built in 1954 by its British colonizers, the prison was modeled after an old-style colonial system to house offenders during a state of emergency declared in October 1952. Today, it still has its original gallows, and it has gotten even more hellish than it was more than half a century ago. On one hand, it is overcrowded. A prison that should house 1,200 inmates has almost 3,000 inmates crammed within it. On the other hand, this overpopulation has bred serious viral diseases like HIV and AIDS, syphilis, tuberculosis, and a whole plethora of diseases that ordinarily should be under control. Even worse is the unending unrest and corruption that plagues the prison system. Since the prison is the government's favorite dumping ground for political dissidents, much of the population is uneducated. This, in turn, has led to a telephone fraud ring within the prison system where scores of prisoners defraud innocent Kenyan citizens of their money outside the prison walls. Kamiti Maximum Security Prison is a cesspool of chaos, and only the smartest, the bravest, and the most ruthless can survive behind its walls. Number 4, Guldani Prison, Georgia. They say the prison is better. They say the violence has stopped, but that doesn't take away the terrifying
Georgia, the country, not Atlanta, Georgia.
legacy of Guldani Prison. In 2012, a video was leaked by a 35-year-old former prison guard turned whistleblower who filmed the horrors that inmates pass through at the hands of other guards. The video is too graphic to show here, but I can tell you what they did and had been doing for decades to prisoners. Every night, random inmates were routinely sodomized with broom handles, and one of such was featured in the videos. They were
I don't want to watch no more, man. Oh, man.
been beaten, drowned, their bones purposefully broken, burnt, all at the hands of the sadistic guards. It was institutionalized torture in the 21st century. A former inmate would recall, they tore off my fingernails, damaged my skull, broke my leg bones, ribs, nose, and teeth. I am 43 years old, but I look like an old man. I often fall down while I am walking. Today, they say the prisons are fine, and that the torture has been brought to a halt, but I doubt you would want to check that for yourself. Number 3, Mendoza Prison, Argentina. The top 90 most dangerous convicts in all of Argentina are held in Pavilion 5 of Mendoza Prison. That section is so dangerous that no guard has the balls to enter that section, and they often leave the inmates' meals at predetermined spots around the door. That might sound deep.
I got the prison guards scared. At this one, I'm pretty sure this whole list of prison guards are scared. I don't even know how you even want to sign up for this job, knowing it's all this diseases and shit all in this prison. Who would want to sign up to work there, bro?
Cool to some, but don't be fooled. Unsurprisingly, the prison has a serious overcrowding problem. 1,600 inmates share a facility that was designed for only 600. There are no beds.
It's a system problem, man. We gotta fix the system.
Subjected to random, intense, and frequent torture, but it doesn't end there. Toilets are non-existent, as prisoners are forced to defecate in plastic bags and urinate in bottles. There is a literal sewer of garbage, human waste, and slime running through the corridors, and conditions have become so unbearable that there are reports that prisoners literally sewed their mouths shut in protest, demanding better living conditions. And yet, it still gets worse. Their food is sludge, and those who aren't strong, fast, or smart enough often go hungry and die, under what the authorities have made a habit of calling mysterious circumstances. Number 2, Diyarbakir.
What the fuck? So far, a prison is a system failure, man. It shouldn't be no reason why a prison for 600 people got 1,600 people, 3,000 people, bro. We need rehabilitation, man.
Prison.
We need real.
Diyarbakir prison was at the center of one of the most abusive regimes in Turkey in the 1980s and 90s. Thousands of Kurdish men and women suffered horrific forms of torture, and at that time, it was regarded.
Are they beating the bottom of the feet?
As the worst prison in the world. These days, second worst, but nothing has improved. In fact, you could argue conditions have gotten worse, because in the same prison where nothing has improved. In fact, you could argue that conditions have gotten worse, because in the same prison where the sludges of society are being housed, children are also locked up within. And the torture that these...
Don't bring the kids in it, man. Don't bring the kids in it.
Subjected to ranges from physical torture to psychological assault. On the more physical, violent side of things, inmates are beaten, violated, maimed, forced to eat excrement, and electrocuted by their genitalia. On the more psychological, dehumanizing side of things, the same inmates are forced to salute the prison director's dog, participate in random mock executions that might or might not ever happen.
Hold on, man. Hold on. Participating in mock executions. They want you to practice. They want you to practice death. They want you to practice death.
On the more psychological,
so when it happens, you know.
The same inmates are forced to salute the prison director's dog, participate in random mock executions that might or might not ever happen, and forced to bathe in the sewers. To show you just how desperate the situation is, prisoners routinely go on dry fast, protesting prison conditions. And more often than not, these prisoners simply die from starvation.
And one thing I'm noticing is when they protest and strike, whatever, they don't get anything done. They're just killing themselves. We're gonna protest the showers, eating, and all that. That doesn't get nothing done, bro. It gets nothing done in these prisons. It look like, man. I think, you know, if it's 3,000 people in the jail, how many, guards? Probably about 50 guards, 3,000 of us, I ain't saying nothing.
4 prisoners set their bodies on fire, and later on, an inmate set his cell on fire before hanging himself in resistance. Number 1, Camp 22, North Korea. Camp 22 is not just one prison facility. It is a series of identity prison camps containing up to 200,000 prisoners and stretched across the length of North Korea. The few extremely lucky survivors have likened conditions in the camp to the atrocities committed against the Jews during the Holocaust. Starvation is not a novelty. It is every prisoner's reality. Inmates are fed a sludge of cornmeal and cabbage every day for the duration of their existence. And to avoid dying of malnutrition, prisoners have to supplement their diet with rats and insects.
Supplement the food with rats and insects. We're gonna eat this sludge, but we're still hungry, so now we gotta eat the rats that's coming in and out of this prison.
Became such an essential part of their diet that rodents literally went extinct. If you know anything about the way rats reproduce, you'll know that is impressive, to say the least. On average, 20 to 25% of the prison population die every year. When inmates aren't dying of malnutrition, the prison guards make their lives.
What is the system doing? They really don't give a damn about these people, bro.
Into a satirical piece of horror. Everyone is fair game to the prison guards. Little girls born in the camp are often fed to dogs to train them to be more vicious. Inmates.
What the fuck? When you bring your dog, your kids is just bait for the dog. Your kids are dog training, little people, man.
Guards. Little girls born in the camp are often fed to dogs to train them to be more vicious. Inmates are brutalized as stress relief for the guards, and if they attempt to escape, everyone in their family, even those unaware of their escape attempt, will be tortured. Pregnancy is also strictly forbidden. Those caught pregnant are often tied to a tree, the fetus cut from their stomach, and then they are shot. Dying in Camp 22 is the best thing that can happen to you.
What the fuck did I just watch? What did we just watch? Comment to let me know what we just watched, bro. Did y'all hear the last thing about pregnant? They gonna kill the woman and slice out the fetus, bro. Oh my God. Hey, jail, prison ain't for me, man. I hope it ain't for y'all either. Let me know which one y'all think was terrible, because I thought number 10 was terrible. It just got worse and worse and worse. God damn, bro. Y'all let me know what y'all think. I gotta go do something.